everyone, this is Dr. Schroeder with this week's video introduction to week number 6 of our course in the Theoretical Foundations of Education and Teaching. And once again, a very nice week of discussion. Most of my participation this week was primarily in feedback in your papers. It takes me a while to grade all of your papers, and overall a very well done job. I was really happy with all the hard work that each of you had put into your papers, and also happy that most everybody had taken the feedback from my first paper and incorporated that into your second paper. That's really the whole idea here. Well done. As you have any questions as you review that feedback, please let me know. You have one more written assignment that is going to be due at the end of this week. That is your evidence-based teaching project, and it's I suppose you can, one way to put it is kind of your culmination of everything we've discussed in this class goes into that that final teaching plan. And so part of which is the information that we've had these last couple of weeks. This week, the primary focus, of course, in the discussion questions was discussing evidence-based practice and evidence-based practice in education. And this kind of harkens back to what I discussed early on in the class, that education theory and the whole process of education is really not that much different than nursing theory and nursing practice, and that everything that we do in education should have an evidence-based foundation, that there should be something in the literature, something in the science that says that this is the correct way to do things, or this is the best way to do things. Taking into account all of those things that we've talked about, learning styles and different learning theories, and the difference between cognitive and affective learning, and hands-on learning, and formative and summative assessment. All these are terms, and all these are concepts that have come out of this thing that we call evidence-based practice, and that was really the main focus this week. And then, so again, very good discussion. I'll be reviewing and giving final feedback in the discussion early this week, and giving you, I should say, giving you grades on your discussion for this week. And that grading should be done, I'd imagine probably by midweek. Probably, I'm recording this Monday evening, so probably by about Tuesday or possibly Wednesday, I'll have the grading done for this week. Pretty simple, straightforward with the grading this week, just because really all that I have to grade is the discussion questions. The topic for this week, we should focus a little and address something that is really important in education, and actually there's a whole growing body of evidence about how do we motivate learners. And really, as you peel back the layers of the onion, what we're really discussing is how do we address diversity in our classrooms. And this is something that's actually gotten a lot of talk and a lot of feedback in many academic circles. This concept about how do we reach out to different minorities and different individuals that maybe in the past have been disenfranchised or felt disenfranchised because of the way that the educational system is set up. I'll tell you, I was in a meeting fairly recently, just within the last month or so, where one of the schools where I teach at, where I'm in a curriculum development committee, one of the questions came up about a class that we teach, and it's a course on well, I think that most of us would read it as it's a cultural course with the idea, it's actually urban development, but it's a cultural course where the students have to go out and spend time in a wilderness area. And in this wilderness, they're doing a lot of retreats where they're talking about urban development and urban planning and conservation and all these different things. It's really kind of a neat course. But one of the issues that was brought up is that when you look at the school's demographic makeup, that most of the students that were signing up for this class were not really the targeted students. This is a course in urban planning, so really the idea was to try to capture a lot of students that were, African American, and that were, African American and Hispanic races. But the problem was that most of the activities for this course were doing wilderness and camping, these kind of outdoor kind of activities. And what one of the people on the curriculum committee brought out is that what research shows is that those courses tend to be skewed towards and be very attractive towards more of a white Anglo-Saxon European ethnocentric background. Those are the people that kind of resonate with that, with going out and camping and running around out in the woods. People from an African American, a traditional African American and Hispanic background, running around outside and camping in the woods, that has another connotation, and so therefore they tend to avoid these kind of classes. So it was kind of interesting. It was a bit of an eye-opener for me that I hadn't really thought about it quite in those terms, a course like that, and how the way some courses are developed may be developed in a way that they essentially push away certain students or push away students that we may want to capture. A lot of talk about that in nursing is how do we capture a true ethically diverse attitude and a style of teaching to attract individuals to nursing that perhaps maybe have been pushed away before. And one of the things we were challenged for many years was trying to get males into nursing. When I entered nursing back in the 1970s, between 3 and 5% of nurses were male. Now it's closer to 25% with nursing schools not really being quite near parity, but we're getting up between 25 to 40% in some schools. Actually really pretty good. And one of the reasons for that is that curriculum has changed. And curriculum has changed to make it more attractive that particular that particular demographic. Doesn't mean that we necessarily have to change our entire curriculum. It just means that sometimes we need to make sure that we're including those activities or including that information that would make courses attractive to a wide area, or at minimum not excluding people with certain minorities or certain cultural attributes, I guess I would say. We want to make sure that we're addressing all of those within a curriculum. So that's really what the focus of this week's discussion question is all about. So I look forward to participating along with you this week in the discussion questions. It'd be a little bit more active participation from me, just because I'm not going to be spending as much time on grading this week, and I'm going to be going back and giving you some feedback as need be, although I've been monitoring the discussions, and I gave a little bit of feedback this week, but not nearly as heavily as you would normally expect from me, just because that middle paper in week 5 is really kind of it's a big time consuming paper. So I look forward to seeing you in the discussion forums. I look forward to reviewing your questions. Please, as always, feel free to send me questions, and feel free to uh, post anything that you think that you'd like me to address. I look forward to seeing you in the discussion in the discussion forums. I hope that everybody is enjoying your spring. And for those of you baseball fans, baseball is back. For those of you that aren't baseball fans, I'm sorry, it's baseball season, but such as it is. I'm kind of a springtime kid, and I love the summer, so I'm looking forward to that. I look forward to being with you in class, and we'll see you in the discussion forums.